I'm Joanna Green, and on this edition of MTA's Commuter Connections, we'll celebrate and remember 40 years of the MTA. We'll also introduce you to a very successful bus operator mentor program and answer your customer questions in our Ask the MTA segment, all here on MTA's Commuter Connections. Welcome to MTA's Commuter Connections. For this edition, we're on location at Maryland's Garrett Jacobs Mansion, which is home to Baltimore's Engineers Club. The historic mansion epitomizes 19th century Golden Age elegance and grandeur and is one of the region's most distinctive historic homes. It's a perfect place to reflect on history and a great place to celebrate and observe a very important Maryland milestone, MTA's 40th anniversary. Yes, for 40 years, the MTA has been serving Marylanders with all of our transportation needs. MTA's Office of Oversight, Project Manager Ron Mears has enjoyed a front row view as an employee who has been with the MTA since its very beginning. He joins us now to look back at MTA's humble beginnings. Hi there, Ron. Welcome to MTA's Commuter Connections.
Thank you.
So you were here at the beginning of time, shall we say? Well, no, not quite then. So when did the MTA become the MTA?
The exact year, I don't know, but prior to it, I had at least, I would say, 12 years with BTC.
So BTC was the initial, and then it transitioned in 1971. You don't have to tell us all your age. You were but a child when it transitioned over into the MTA. Yes. And how was that transition? I would imagine it was a big deal.
It was. We've gone from one set of ideas to a new set,
right?
And one type of leadership to another, and
wow.
But it was good for.
Now BTC was a private company.
Yes.
So this was something. This is a big deal to go from a private company to something almost like a state entity.
That's right.
Now BTC, that was Baltimore Transit Company.
Yeah.
And at that point they had, Baltimore Transit had things like what, streetcars and.
Yeah.
Well, you really were here during the beginning of time.
Yes.
I'm just, again, just
and unfortunately, I never got a chance to operate a streetcar. And when I came aboard, that was at the close of the streetcar and the beginning of
the buses. Now, what was it like to drive a bus there? Because, buses nowadays, people don't even realize how good they have it.
Yes.
But buses then, what was it like driving a bus back then?
It was really, it was hard. And it was something that you really had to be physically fit because we had no power steering and no air conditioning.
What?
And
none of those comforts?
None of those. And once the passengers got aboard, if you had a standing load, when you went to turn the corner, you really had to put some muscle behind that because no power steering.
To wheel to get that bus to go around.
Sometimes
so no
you have
steering.
to hold on to one portion and then regroup and get it around. But
so they needed strong people to operate those buses.
Absolutely. It was really, you had to be physically fit.
Now, compared to what it's like today, I mean, besides just the technology and the ease of the buses, what about traveling in some of those communities? Because again, you were working during a time when things had really changed. There were still parts of the city that were incredibly segregated. There were times, there were difficult communities. What was it like to travel in those communities?
There were some areas that presented a problem to the black drivers.
Right.
But we didn't have a whole lot of problems, but we were always aware that we could have an incident,
And you had to be mentally prepared, I would think.
Yes, you did.
Tell me some of your fondest memories.
My fondest memories is the number 10 line.
The number 10?
Number 10 used to travel to Sparrows Point.
I tell you, going to the point.
Yes, and that was like, Sparrows Point was like a city within a city.
Wow.
And it was really quite a thing to take the employees to that location, and they had their own police force and own schools.
Wow.
And it was really something.
You know what, I was on that 10 back then because I lived over in Turner Station.
Yes, exactly. so you know
I know,
what I'm
that 10,
saying.
and that 10 was a lifeline to many communities. That's
Yes, it
how
was.
people who lived out in that outside area got to Hustlers and got downtown and got to all the wonderful parts of Baltimore. So it was important. Well, it was a fond memory for me.
Yes.
Now, what divisions existed back then when you were operating?
First of all, I've operated out of Easton. Easton was the only division I ever worked out of, but back in that day we had Easton, we had Retreat Street, that's now closed.
Wow.
We had Hartford Division, that's now closed, you know. So we still had Bush Division, and we had Kirk, and Northwest was developed later, yeah.
So that's,
But
well, you know, but you still sort of had the same kind of numbers because they just shifted the regions based on geography and things like that. Now, witnessing all the things that you've seen, what advice would you say to people, or I would say give to other drivers and things like that about what they should be thankful for and the great things that are going on at MTA nowadays?
Well, I try to mentor a lot of people, new people coming into the organization, and one of the things is to we be on time.
Yes.
On time.
The public appreciates that.
It's important because we pride ourselves on on-time performance. So we need you here when you're supposed to be here, and come prepared. You know, you know what your job is. You know, have the tools necessary to do your job and do it well, and don't take things personal.
Right.
You know, if you have a disgruntled person, don't let that individual mess up your day.
Right,
you know.
and don't carry it to the next passenger.
No, absolutely.
Now I understand a part of this 40th anniversary is that MTA is doing a lot of different things. They're going out in the community and things of that nature.
Yes.
And what other things does the MTA do to kind of show their appreciation to the community?
Well, we also participate with the food bank, Maryland Food Bank.
Wow.
And then we have something we call food bus.
The stuffer bus.
Stuffer bus,
yeah,
that's what we call it. Stuffer bus. We do that.
And so you donate the food? The
Yes,
food that's collected on
we
the bus, you
collect-
donate
yeah,
that? Okay.
That's right. And we see that the food banks, you know, get that
the
supply.
communities.
And around December, the month of December, we have something else that's traditional, and we do it annually. And that's the Santa Claus bus.
Oh boy, I'm ready for the Santa Claus bus. Tell everybody what the Santa Claus bus is.
Okay, we one of the operators will dress up like Santa Claus, and we fix the bus up, you know, with all
Like a
the
holiday bus.
And we'll choose a line, and the bus will operate from one end of that line to the other, and it's free.
Well, you know what? Anytime you say the word free and transit, that immediately gets folks' attention.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what I want to tell you, I appreciate you coming and sharing your memories and sharing your experience with folks, because I want people to know that, you know, transit today, it's a lot different, and it's still good, and it's an important resource. Just as important, would you agree, as it was then, and transit is even more important now in these challenging economic times.
Yes, and now it's even better because we have a division called service quality.
And that's important.
And we're doing the best things that for the customers itself, you know, we're thinking of ideas that will be a benefit to them.
So we're actually listening to what folks have to say.
Absolutely.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, a look at an important and valuable part of today's MTA. We'll introduce you to a new bus operator mentor program that's making a difference. Stay with us.